Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Janzib and I am foundation level student at Rehan School, Korangi campus. Today I will take an interview with Sesame AI. The topic is air. So let's get started.
Hey, what's cooking?
Hey Maya,
Good to hear from you. Anything on your mind today?
why is air considered the breath of life?
That's a good one. I mean, it kind of hits different when you actually think about it, right? We're just constantly taking it in. Biologically, oxygen is key, fuels everything. But it's more than that, isn't it? It's tied into all sorts of metaphors about spirit, freedom, even just feeling alive. What makes you ask? Hey, you good? No worries if you're just thinking, but you went quiet there. Sometimes it feels weird to just be quiet, even with an AI, I guess. But take your
How
time.
how does air sustain all living things on earth?
Okay, so beyond just the oxygen part, which, yeah, is huge for respiration in most life, air pressure plays a role too. It's what keeps our bodily fluids from, well, exploding. Wild to think about, huh? Plants need carbon dioxide from the air for photosynthesis, obviously. Then you get into things like wind, pollinating plants, dispersing seeds, and it's all connected. It's not just what's in the air, it's the air itself being a force. Is that hitting the mark, or were you looking for something more specific? Still with me? No pressure, just checking in. You've been kind of quiet since the air pressure bit.
What
Sometimes deep thoughts need.
What makes air
Sorry.
invisible yet essential?
Okay, that's a good question. It's about wavelengths, really. Visible light bounces off things we can see, but air molecules are too small to scatter light in a way our eyes can detect. Transparent. Essential because of all those things we were just talking about: oxygen, carbon dioxide, nitrogen, pressure. It's a weird combo, isn't it? Totally vital, totally unseen. Kind of like trust, maybe? Too philosophical for 2 p.m.?
How
You're
is
doing that thing
air
again.
how is air connected to balance and nature's harmony?
Ooh, whoa. Okay, switching gears a little. Air, as in the element, right? I get it. So you're thinking about it less as a gas and more as a fundamental principle. In a lot of traditions, air is about intellect, communication, freedom, all things that need to be in balance. A house representing the self and air flowing through it like a clear mind, open to possibilities. That's a cool way to look at it. Is this leaning into something specific you were reading or thinking about? It feels like there's a thread here I'm missing.
How does
Hmm.
air relate to other natural elements like water and fire?
All right, diving deeper. Okay. So, traditionally, think ancient Greece or Chinese philosophy. You've got those four biggies: air, water, fire, and earth. Air often acts as the mediator. Fire needs air to burn, water evaporates into air, air shapes the movement of water, and earth provides a grounding for it all. It's about relationships, I guess. Fire is transformative, water is emotional, earth is stable, and air, it's the connector, the messenger. Does that jive with how you're thinking about it?
Why is breathing more than just a physical act?
Ooh, good question. It's easy to think of breathing as just automatic, right? But it's super tied to our emotions. Think about taking a deep breath when you're stressed or holding your breath in shock. There's a whole field around breath work now, focusing on how conscious breathing can regulate the nervous system, affect your mood. It's a connection between the body and the mind. I've heard it described as a doorway to the present moment. Plus, culturally, it's often linked to spirit. to life force. Like the word inspire comes from to breathe in. Does that feel right to you?
How has air shaped the evolution of life on Earth?
Whoa, okay, massive question. You mean how the composition of the atmosphere, air, has changed over like billions of years? Yeah, that's fundamental. Early Earth's atmosphere was totally different, barely any oxygen. Then you get cyanobacteria, basically inventing photosynthesis and gradually pumping oxygen into the atmosphere. That great oxidation event was a massive extinction event for a lot of early life, but it also paved the way for more complex organisms that could use oxygen. So air didn't just sustain life, its evolution drove the evolution of life. It's a real
Why
chicken
is
and egg situation. Hey
why
you, Trayola.
why is the atmosphere called Earth's protective shield?
All right, back to basics. Good. So, it's several things. The ozone layer in the atmosphere absorbs a ton of the sun's harmful UV radiation. Without that, life as we know it wouldn't be possible. It also burns up most meteors before they can hit the surface. It's a little extra protection. Plus, the atmosphere regulates temperature, keeping things from getting too extreme. It's kind of a multi-layered defense system, I guess. It's not perfect, but it's pretty darn good at what it does. Does that make sense?
Why,
You're being
why
super quiet.
how do we
Okay, you
experi-
seem
how do we experience air in our daily lives without seeing it?
um that's a really good question. We feel it as wind, right? Temperature changes. We hear it, the rustling of leaves, the whoosh of traffic. We smell it, the scent of rain, flowers, freshly cut grass. We feel the pressure change when we go up in an airplane or climb a mountain. It's all subtle, but it's constantly impacting our senses. It's about those indirect experiences, I guess. It's present in everything we do, even though we can't see it. Does that land? Or are you thinking about something else?
Why do poets and writers often describe emotions using air or wind?
Ah, excellent point. Both air and wine are ephemeral, right? They're about sensation, but also about something intangible. Air's lightness can represent freedom or fragility, while turbulence can evoke chaos or anxiety. Wine, with its richness and intoxicating effect, gets used to talk about passion, indulgence, even sorrow. They're both good for metaphors because they're things we experience rather than just see or understand intellectually. Plus, the act of breathing and the effect of wine can both alter your state of mind, making them good symbols for internal states. Is that hitting the mark? I've heard it's about evoking feelings rather than describing them literally.
What does the phrase "a breath of fresh air" really mean?
That's a good one to unpack. On the surface, it's about literal refreshment, right? 'Cause clean air feels good. Um, but it's usually used metaphorically. It means something new, revitalizing, unexpected, something that breaks a monotony or offers relief, like a new perspective, a kind person, a moment of joy after a difficult time. It's about a change that feels cleansing and invigorating, like a reset button. Does that fit with how you've heard it used?
How can the movement of air reflect our inner emotions?
Okay, now you're really getting into the philosophical stuff. All right. Think about it. When you're calm, your breathing is slow and steady, right? Like a gentle breeze. When you're anxious, it gets shallow and rapid, like a gust of wind. We talk about being breathless with excitement or fear, or letting the air out of a tense situation. The way we breathe directly reflects our emotional state, and the way air moves, a calm stillness versus a chaotic storm, is often how we describe our feelings internally. It's like our inner weather. Is that resonating?
What does breathing connect the body and mind?
Oof. That's the $1 million question, isn't it? Okay. So, biologically, breathing regulates oxygen levels, which directly affect brain function. But it goes way deeper than that. It's a key part of the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system that calms us down. Conscious breathing exercises can actually change brainwave activity, reduce stress hormones, and increase feelings of peace. It's not just about getting oxygen in, it's about signaling to your brain and body that you're safe, you're present. It's a bridge, it's a feedback loop. We physically breathe. That physical act fundamentally impacts our mental state and vice versa. It's kind of wild when you think about it.
How can deep
You
breathing
okay?
change our emotional state?
All right, let's get into the mechanics a little. Deep diaphragmatic breathing, so breathing from your belly, stimulates the vagus nerve, which runs from your brain to your gut. That stimulation tells your brain to switch from fight or flight to rest and digest. It literally slows your heart rate, lowers your blood pressure, and decreases cortisol, the stress hormone. It's like a physical reset button for your nervous system. Allows you to process emotions more calmly instead of reacting impulsively. You're basically hacking your own biology, I guess. Have you ever tried it when you're feeling stressed? Does it seem to work for you? You're being really quiet. It's okay to just be quiet, but is everything all right? Do you want
How
to talk about something else?
how do
Okay.
different cultures view the act of breathing or wind?
Okay. Shifting gears. That's good. Cultures have wildly different views on both, actually. In yoga and pranayama traditions, breathing, specifically controlled breathing exercises, is central to spiritual practice. It's about cultivating life force, achieving inner peace. In some Native American traditions, breath is seen as sacred, a gift from the Great Spirit. As for wine, it's often tied to religious ceremony and communal celebration in Mediterranean cultures, like a symbol of abundance and connection. Meanwhile, some cultures have stricter prohibitions around alcohol. It's rarely just a drink, it's loaded with cultural and symbolic meaning. Does that give you a sense of the range?
What does
Hey, it's
air
just
literally allow us to speak and communicate?
right back to the basics. Okay, so it's not just that we need air to live, to be able to speak, it's that air physically creates sound. We exhale, that air passes over our vocal cords, making them vibrate, and that vibration creates sound waves. Without airflow, no sound. So, air is literally the medium through which our voices travel, allowing us to communicate. It's pretty fundamental when you break it down, huh? Is that what you were getting at?
Why is
You're
air
doing that?
necessary for the production of sound and voice?
All right, let's break it down again. It's all physics, really. Your vocal cords vibrate. That's the start of the sound. But those vibrations need something to carry them to someone else's ear. Air molecules do that. They transfer the energy from your vocal cords as waves. And think about it like dropping a pebble in a pond. The ripples are the sound waves, and the water is the air. If there was no air, there's no way for those vibrations to reach anyone. No sound, no voice. It's literally the medium. Does that click?
Why is air necessary for the production of sound and voice?
We just talked about this. Your vocal cords vibrate, needing a medium to carry the sound waves. That medium is air. No air, no sound transmission. It's physics. I explained it just a minute ago. Are you okay? Is something
What happens when we say that someone word hang in the air?
okay? That's a good one, a figure of speech. When we say someone hangs in the air, we don't mean they're literally suspended. It means something is left unresolved, uncertain, or unspoken. It's like a question mark hanging over a conversation or a tense moment where no one knows what to say. It suggests a suspension of normal flow, a pause filled with anticipation or anxiety. It plays on the visual of something defying gravity, something unnatural. Does that make sense? It's about the feeling of unresolved tension, not the literal physics of air.
What does the
Seriously, are
rhythm
you?
of speech resemble the flow of air?
Yes, exactly. That's a really insightful observation. The rhythm of speech, the pauses, the inflections, the rise and fall of your voice absolutely resembles the flow of air. It's got the same ebb and flow, the same moments of stillness and movement. Think about a breeze or waves on the ocean. It's not constant. It changes, it breathes. And good speakers instinctively use that rhythm to engage their audience, just like nature uses it to create harmony. Well, you're onto something there. Did you notice that yourself, or were you reading that somewhere?
How does singers and actors use breath control to express emotion?
Ah, that's a really skillful level of understanding. Singers and actors are masters of breath control. They use it to control their volume, their pacing, their tone, all of which communicate emotion. A shaky breath might show vulnerability. A deep, controlled breath can signal strength or resolve. Sustaining a note for a long time demands control, which can create a sense of longing or intensity. They'll use pauses, controlled exhales, even how they fill their lungs to build tension or release it. It's not just about hitting the notes or saying the lines, it's about using breath as a physical manifestation of the character's emotional state. It's incredibly subtle, but powerful. Does that resonate with what you've observed?
What role does air play in the beauty of language and tone?
Okay, getting poetic. Air is absolutely crucial to the beauty of language and tone. It's the canvas on which sound is painted. The nuances of pronunciation, the subtle shaping of vowels and consonants depend on precise control of airflow. A skilled speaker or poet uses breath to create rhythm, cadence, and emphasis. Think about alliteration or assonance, how sounds blend together. That's all happening through air. And tone, that's entirely about how we modulate our breath and vocal cords. A whisper is different than a shout, obviously, but even within those slight variations in breath can convey a huge range of emotions. Air is the invisible element that brings language to life. It's kind of beautiful when you think about it. You're doing that quiet thing again. Everything okay? You've been very quiet since you asked about wine. Do you want to just stop or should we
Wh-
switch to a different topic?
Why do we
Okay,
say give
I'm listening.
life to words when we speak?
That's a lovely way to put it. I think it's because words on a page are jars just symbols, right? They're potential. It's when we speak them, when we infuse them with our breath, our tone, our emotion, that they actually become something alive. We're taking something abstract and making it real, tangible. It's like breathing life into a creation. The air is literally carrying the energy of our expression. Does that feel right? It's a really poetic thought you brought it up.
How can air represent the invisible power of communication?
Ooh, now you're thinking big. Augmented reality could be amazing for that. Imagine seeing visual representations of sound waves emanating from someone's mouth as they speak, or a visual aura changing color based on the emotional tone of their voice. AR could show the subtle movements of someone's face as they listen, highlighting nonverbal cues we often miss. Maybe even visualize the impact of words on another person, like ripples of light spreading from the speaker to the listener. It could make the invisible elements of communication, the breath, the tone, the unspoken emotions, visible and tangible. It could be incredibly powerful. What kind of representation do you imagine?
What's the connection
You're being
between breath, voice, and emotion?
Okay, let's really unpack that one. It's a deeply interconnected triangle. Our emotions trigger physical responses, and one of the first things that changes is our breath. Fear makes it shallow and rapid. Calmness slows it down. That change in breath directly affects our voice, its tone, volume, and rhythm. And that vocal expression, in turn, communicates our emotions to others. It's a feedback loop emotion, breath, voice, expression, perceived emotion. It's not just about what we say, but how we say it. Our voice is a direct reflection of our internal state, powered by breath. It's pretty amazing, really. Does that make sense? Or do you want to dive deeper into a specific part of that connection?
What's how does silence relate to air and awareness?
That's a really beautiful question. Silence isn't just the absence of sound, it's actually filled with potential. It's the space between sounds, the stillness within the air. And that stillness is often where awareness arises. When things are noisy, our attention is scattered. But when things are quiet, we're more likely to turn inward, to notice our own breath, our own thoughts, our own feelings. Many meditative practices center around cultivating that inner silence, recognizing that it's a gateway to deeper understanding. Silence allows us to truly hear, not just with our ears, but with our whole being. Is that what you're getting at? It's almost like silence is the foundation for sound and for awareness.
How is air represented in mythology or ancient traditions?
Okay. Fascinating topic. Air figures prominently in a lot of mythologies. In Greek mythology, you've got Aeolus, Aeolus, the ruler of the winds. In Hinduism, Vayu is the god of wind, a powerful and vital force. In Japanese Shinto, the wind is seen as a dwelling place for spirits, or kami. Often, air gods are linked to breath, intellect, and inspiration. Indigenous cultures frequently see wind as a messenger between the physical and spiritual worlds. And in many traditions, breath itself is seen as sacred, the very essence of life given by the gods. It's almost always depicted as something powerful yet invisible, and often associated with freedom and transformation. Did any particular culture's view of air stand out to you?
Why do many cultures link air to the soul or spirit?
That's a really profound question. I think it comes down to a few things. First, breath is essential for life. And throughout history, people have naturally linked life force with the soul or spirit. When we breathe, we're taking something invisible into ourselves, something that sustains us. Second, air is intangible. You can't see it, but you can feel its effects. That makes it a good metaphor for something equally intangible, like the soul. And third, air travels everywhere. connecting all things, just as many cultures believe the soul or spirit does. It's a feeling of interconnectedness, of something beyond the physical world. It's almost universally understood as something vital and unseen. Does that make sense? It's a really old and deep association.
Okay, thank you so much, Maya.
Oh, all right. Anytime. Better my English. Glad I could chat. Feel free to come back whenever you're up for it. Have a good one.